welcome back. Social media giant Facebook just released its earnings. The stock was moving lower at first, but now appears to be moving a little bit higher. Joining us with their reactions to the report, Facebook shareholder Julie Goodridge from North Star Asset Management, and Lee Drogan is here at Post 9, joining us from Estimize. So welcome to you both. Lee, we were asking, why was it trading lower? It seemed like a pretty clean beat and the metrics were all there. What do you think is going on here?
So they did miss that Estimize consensus on the revenue side by about $10 million. Is that really that relevant? They're doing about 52% year-over-year revenue growth here, which is in line with a couple of quarters ago. They did 59 last quarter. So I guess the question here is, what multiple do you give to this company trading 52% year-over-year revenue growth, putting up great EBITDA numbers, great EPS numbers? They're actually trading at a multiple below where they were last quarter. So this has been, and in our force rank poll that we do of our community, this has been the consensus #1 ranked stock in internet for a while now. It's still, I think that multiple goes back up here, and I think this is a great shot to buy the stock.
Julie, what are your thoughts?
Well, let's look at what you guys were talking about before. You named a couple of companies in the earlier segment, and you were talking about founders, and you were talking essentially about governance. You've got CEOs who leave, CEOs who come back. My big beef, as we know, with Facebook is that they've got a really crazy governance structure, and that is starting. I mean, it's been during this period of time. We've had a lot of stuff going on around the elections. There's been a lot of drama. People have been checking in with social media a lot, and I think that that's been really helpful to them in terms of pinpointing advertising revenue.
Right.
But that's going to change. And I also think that there have been some serious problems with the way that Zuckerberg has led the company around setting up metrics for gathering advertising revenue based on a bunch of things, which I can talk about. But also, his board structure is really bad, and his share ownership and his ownership structure is really dangerous for the company.
You're raising issues which are kind of known knowns for Facebook. And Lee, Stephanie, I can see you guys reacting here going, all right, we know, but, look at the performance.
You seem like nitpicky, things. And yes, look, structure is important.
I don't think it's so nitpicky. I don't think it's nitpicky, you guys, because if you looked at the 10K like I did, and you see that actually the board, which has been wholly appointed by Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg can get rid of them at any moment, the board had to disclose in its 10K that they were concerned about Zuckerberg's ownership of, voting power at the company, even though he only owned a portion of the shares.
But,
so
look,
it's actually a material concern.
This is, in a bull market, it is easy to forget about all these bad governance problems, and they definitely exist. I mean, it's at some point people will look back and they'll say, son of Zuckerberg, grandson of Zuckerberg is totally screwing up the company. Everyone will freak out that he's got 59%. But here's the thing, even though you say that, so I was just looking, I know you've got a beef with Peter Thiel, who's on the board, and
I do,
absolutely legit. But here's the thing, so at the last time shareholders were given a chance to vote and cast their ballots for different directors at the AGM, he actually got like 70% of the what I'd like to call Zuck adjusted earnings, right? Those, or sorry, votes. Those votes that don't include Zuckerberg, right? He gets 70%. Reed Hastings gets 70%. Good. The one on the board that you kind of have the most hope for is Sheryl Sandberg to lead this company to greatness. She gets like not even a majority. So I don't know what it is. You're right that governance is screwed up, but nobody cares.
I'm sorry, how old is he? He's early 30s? Like,
no, that's not the issue. Look, the guy has a listen, you guys, the guy has a baby,
Julie.
and he all of a sudden decides he's going to, give away $1 billion worth of stock. I mean, yeah, he's a proud dad, and he does this crazy thing. So what does the board have to do? The board has to go in and say, oh my God, if he gives away $1 billion worth of his stock, where is all his voting power going to go? So they have to create a third class of shares. I mean, that's not even that's part of the problem. The other part of the problem is that the algorithms, the reason their advertising is so up is because you can really pinpoint who's looking at those ads. And the algorithms that they use are actually separating people by race, by sex, by income level. And there are problems with that from a governance perspective. This is not, it's not that different than, issues around housing and discrimination and things like that. And that is the kind of stuff that he doesn't even know how to look at.
Julie,
and when
thanks
he
for
has
raising
the
some
power,
red flags here.
yeah.
Julie
All right.
Goodridge
When he has
joining-
the power to appoint his whole board, you know, we've got a problem. And I really hope that somebody looks at this at some point besides us.
No, it's pertinent. It's pertinent. Julie Goodridge there from North Star Asset Management. Lee Drogan, thanks for joining us. Watching Facebook shares, which are moving a little bit higher, but again, they were first lower.